When I was in the thick of the anxiety, which I experienced for many years, I was paranoid. I had a lot of crazy thoughts, and I knew they were crazy, but I still felt compelled to try to do something, even though I knew it was irrational what I was trying to do, in order to make that anxiety and the panic and the unwanted sensations go away. So let me give you an example, and it's just one of many, I promise you. I used to live in a city, and I would refill water in 5-gallon containers at the grocery store. So I would bring those containers back home into my apartment, and then I would become paranoid that someone had come into my apartment and tampered with the water while I was there. Now, of course, I knew that was crazy because I had been there and nobody had come in, but I couldn't get that thought out of my mind. It would just go around and around and around. I would obsess over it. And the more I would try to stop it, the more I would try to silence it or get rid of it, the louder it would get and the faster it would get, until I would be in a panic. I would be so stressed and tense that I would do the only thing that I could think of to do in that moment in order to relieve the anxiety that I felt, and that is that I would dump the 5 gallons of water down the drain. Now, of course, that was silly. It was ridiculous. It was crazy, not to mention wasteful. But I did it because I didn't know what else to do. I felt I had to, because I certainly couldn't live with that stress and tension that I had in my body. Now, as I said, that was just one example that would happen frequently, but it's not the craziest of all the things I used to do. I did a lot of crazy things, a lot of really painful and hurtful things to myself, because I was paranoid, because I was obsessing, because I was stressed out. And I knew it was crazy, a lot of the things that I was doing. But I didn't know a better way. So what I finally discovered is something that's so obvious that, well, I guess I just overlooked it for a long time. What I discovered is that thoughts are just thoughts. Now, bear with me for a moment, because as simple as that is, it's profound, actually. You see, thoughts can be useful. I'm not against thoughts, of course. It's a wonderful way for us to communicate with others. It's a way in which we can interpret our world. And most thoughts aren't problematic. Most thoughts they're fairly innocuous. But then there are some thoughts that, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but some of these thoughts, sometimes, some of us, decide that those thoughts are problems, that they're painful, that they're disturbing in some way. Now, if you're listening or watching this video, then I'm sure you know what I mean. You've got some of those thoughts yourself. And believe me, I had some real humdingers. But they're all still just thoughts. Now, our thoughts, obviously, can produce some very real and sometimes unpleasant symptoms. Stress, tension, anxiety, panic. But all the same, they're just thoughts. And so the panic and the anxiety and all of that, that's something that follows the thoughts because we believe in them to some degree. So what I'm going to share with you throughout some of the videos that follow this are some specific practices and techniques that you can use and try out to begin to undo the habit of being stressed and panicked and anxious in response to thoughts. Now, if it was just as simple as don't be anxious, well, you would have thought of that before. You wouldn't be watching this video. So please don't feel that I'm so naive that I would insult you with just don't believe your thoughts. Or rather, just don't get anxious in response to your thoughts. But at the same time, don't underestimate the power of the simplicity of recognizing that your thoughts are really just thoughts and nothing more. This one awareness, the more that you let that in, the more that you explore that and realize the truth of that, the more profound your peace of mind can become, even in the face of those thoughts that previously provoked so much panic and anxiety and stress in you. So I'll leave you with that. Just remember that thoughts are just thoughts. See where that takes you. And like I said, in some of the next videos, we'll look at some specific techniques that you can use in order to explore that more deeply.